Welcome back. Valentine's Day. Coming up, I guess 3 days from now?
I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, so that's a crazy thing, because I don't either. So, being somebody that doesn't know much, like I don't think I've ever had a Valentine. Not in my adult life. Maybe when I was in like...
tips though.
Oh, you ain't got no tips?
I'm trying to get
No, I said I'm not. I said I'm not one of those tips. Like I've had a Valentine before. I just haven't had one in a long time.
Gotcha. Like, so I'm on the other side. I ain't had one forever since I was a kid. But literally that's a crazy thing.
Cause you got gray in your chin. What the
Yeah. I was going.
That just lets me know it's been a long time.
Coming for your neck.
Literally.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Yeah, so is Valentine's important to everybody? Like, is it not? Is it a thing? Is it not a thing? Especially like specifically for you in a relationship, not just dating, but is Valentine's like a thing that has to be done? Is it something that can be bypassed? Is it a requirement? Do you require your dude to?
Well, for me, Valentine's Day should be Valentine's year. Of course, everybody thinks that, but for me, it really does. It should. And although I haven't had a Valentine from like someone that I'm interested in, my dad has been my Valentine literally every single year. And I'm not exaggerating. My dad sends me flowers and a gift every single Valentine, and he has 3 daughters. All 3 of us get a Valentine's.
So you're a daddy's girl.
No. Not necessarily. No. I'm not. I'm a mama's girl, but I really am. But I'm just saying, my dad, and I have an uncle as well. So between my dad and my uncle, they have literally showered me in like so much love. Like wherever one lacks, the other picks up the slack. So like to me, I do think it's a big deal because. Like, my dad has been doing it, and he has to do it for 3 girls and his girlfriend, or if he has a girlfriend at the time. Sometimes he doesn't have a girlfriend, but that's what it's not that hard, because it doesn't have to be some long, drawn-out thing. The thoughtfulness goes way longer than the amount of money you spent on the Valentine's idea, or whether it's a gift or a date or whatever. But because my dad has set that standard for me. So like so and when until my daddy leave this earth, if I get a nigga, now I'm getting 2-3 gifts because I'm getting one from my daddy and I'm getting one from my man.
So I piggybacking off of what she just said, I recently just lost my dad, and he used to do the same thing for me every Valentine's Day. He bought me a rose and he bought me a stuffed bear and a card, and he would always say like positive things to me about me. But so yeah, you actually just reminded me that like this Valentine's Day I don't have one, and I think let me see, Valentine's Day, like I've had like an on and off boyfriend since I was 15 years old, and I'm like nearing 30, so it's been a long time.
Same person?
On and off, I've had guys in between, like when we not, but definitely I feel like I know my soulmate, and I feel like we're just trying to figure out how we're gonna be together in this lifetime.
So you feel like he is your soulmate? You feel like he is your soulmate?
No, I know he's my soulmate.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. And he knows that I'm his soulmate too. So it's great when you both know that, but when you have certain personalities and lifestyles, certain times, like it just doesn't work. That's why Erykah Badu did make that song, Next Lifetime. It's a real thing. But back to Valentine's Day. I think that you have to understand your partner. I hate to always be so like language. Deep, but everybody has a love language. And I had an ex-boyfriend. This is not the long one. This is a guy that came from Africa. He was from Ghana, and his parents, his tradition was no Valentine's Day. So it's like here I am expecting a bouquet of flowers, like a card, all this great stuff. But to be frank, he's not American. Like, this is not important to him. So I think just understanding your partner and understanding like on both sides, right? And I didn't express to him the importance of Valentine's Day. So that's important too as women to say, hey, this is what my father does, and this is what I enjoy, and this is what I kind of want from you. And then maybe if they love you enough or if they like you enough, they're gonna oblige to it. But if you just like have a person like him who came from a whole nother culture, he's gonna be like, American holiday. This is not a real day. This is a day to waste your money. This is why your credit is so low. That's how he was. But we worked it out. We're not together anymore. But because once again, love language matters, and holidays are big for me. My family is very tight knit. Christmas and all those things, and that's not important for him.
What have you been in relationship because I'm married, so we've been in our relationship for a while, almost the same thing. We've known each other since we were 16 years old. What if it's just because that's what I'm getting right now, and I'm literally asking for advice because it's just
what is your wife's love language? Do you
know?
Words of affirmation and
write her love letter.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be you're spending all of this money. It's literally just what is sentimental and intimate to her, which could be something that
love
doesn't
letters?
cost anything.
Have you ever written her love letters?
Yeah, all the time, girl. That's what I do.
What about a jar with folded Post-its?
What is
all the things you love.
And all positive things about her.
Or put them in balloons. Somebody did that
She
for
don't like the balloons.
Okay,
somebody
never
did it
mind.
for her. She had a thing about popping the balloons.
Does she have a jar where she has to work?
I like the jar thing.
I've done a happy jar for people that they really like. I did one for my big sister when she was getting deployed, and it was a happy jar that just happy jar that had inside jokes between us or funny things that happened, and then also words just encouraging words, and even songs that reminded me of her. So that might be something cute.
What?
A happy jar.
A happy jar.
Yeah.
So
And you decorate
It could even be things that you're gonna do for her. So it could be a mixture. So it could be cook breakfast. You write that on there. So if she picks it out in the morning time, or maybe you do it the next day, something just surprises,
Do you guys feel like it's
Rub feet.
Do you guys feel like it's a mutual thing, for men and women?
No, it's
Absolutely
according
not.
to who your lover is.
So
if you don't give a
said
crap
absolutely.
about
She
it,
said absolutely not.
right?
Okay,
We're on the same
this
page.
is the thing. Let me clarify before we get into agreement.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
clarify. So I enjoy Valentine's Day a lot. This year I do not have a Valentine as of yet, but it's not over yet.
Sorry.
I was thinking about doing a Galentine's night and just invite all the single girls over, but honestly I just didn't feel like stressing myself out.
What about the single? What
But
about the single
anyone here
guys?
single and y'all want to do it and help me plan, just have a little girls' night. I'm more than happy to do it.
No, we can't. We
Go
can't
to
get
the
both. We
spa.
can't get the single girls and the single guys together. Maybe.
Oh, that's
I don't want any
my
male
house got
energy
limited space,
around.
but it's only 790
She
square
said,
feet. I will say, I enjoy
tried it.
Valentine's Day a lot. I've been fortunate
tried
enough to
it,
have some pretty eventful and fun Valentine's Days.
Check out Yanni Talks.
Yeah, I've been in Paris Valentine's Day. I've been in London Valentine's Day. I've been asked if I
The bar
celebrate,
set.
and I've had some really nice things done for me that were not as lavish as getting flown out or flew out somewhere. But it took me a very long time to recognize that if you're in a relationship, and I was in a relationship with these people, so I was just happily accepting everything. But if you're in a relationship, I think it should be mutual, because I did talk about this on Yanni Talks TV, where a lot of men, they're just so used to not getting anything for Valentine's Day, but they want, and I feel like the box is not a Valentine's Day gift. And I used to think it's not.
Yeah,
The men
you
want
get
more.
that anyway.
They getting the same
every day.
recycled box they got last
anyway.
week. All you do is put a red bow on it.
It's
Put a red
right.
bow on it.
It's
No,
recycled.
I agree with you, but I think it
Recycled
shouldn't be
chicks.
we match each
It-
other
yeah,
toe for toe.
no,
Like,
yeah.
It should be
you
what
like
you want.
grand
and they want.
gestures.
Yeah.
I want my grand gesture. If you like me to finance a steak dinner with 4 of your homeboys, I'm gonna go get you a gift card, and you'll be happy with that.
Right.
I think
You
you
just
should
have to. Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
needs to know
Yeah.
who you're dealing
Yeah.
with.
I agree.
I think it should be mutual.
So the cheeks, not a gift.
Pussy is not a
No,
gift
It's not.
It's not.
because
not.
the
Just
gift
like paying the rent is not a gift.
Wait, what?
What does
Who's
that mean?
trying to pay my
Somebody-
rent?
Really? You
I'm
gonna
talking
say
about
no?
if that's something that you already do. I'm saying because just
Okay, if
like
you already do
vaginas, you having sex with
Like
your
if you're
partner, if
living
you're
together.
sexually active already, then
It's
it's not a
like-
gift because that's
Yeah.
just like paying the rent.
I was
If you
gonna
pay the
say.
rent every month, it's not a gift if that's something you've been already.
Because I was just gonna take it. I was gonna take you
Oh,
as the
no, no,
authority
no. I
and say,
mean, if
I was
somebody-
told not to pay your rent.
No. Listen,
First of all, we all have
They
to
said, nah,
do
they
not
said
take
you should
anything
never
that
pay
we
rent for
say
Valentine's.
as principle.
oh shit, you
Never pay rent for Valentine's Day because I might have someone else there.
Listen, you can pay my rent, but you
I'ma
ain't getting no
definitely use
key.
that one. I'm
You
use.
can
I'm gonna
pay
take
me.
No,
that
you
one.
can pay my rent, but you're not getting the key.
Just like my daddy
You
said,
can
don't
pay
buy
these
me
law
no shoes
school
because he's gonna
loans.
walk away to another
I'm
man.
not. I'm not suggesting that I pay
keep saying
him,
stuff.
but
I'll take that.
I'm brutal.
she said it for a reason.
I mean, I ain't against it. I'm saying like if we live together and you already paid the rent,
I don't
giving
live
me
with my
something.
boyfriends.
I mean, I don't either.
Oh,
I mean,
alright,
personally,
alright.
I live by myself, but me personally, I just like they said, it just goes back to something that
I
you
hate all
receive
your
already on
people.
the regular is not a gift, and that's why I said paying rent. It was not to me like. If you don't pay my rent on the regular and it's Valentine's Day and you want to pay my rent, by all means, pay the damn rent because LA rent is not cheap.
No,
So, yeah, you can pay my rent in that regard.
So what about the other two? Like Valentine, important.
I feel like there's like a lot of stigma with women in particular about not liking Valentine's Day if they're not in a relationship, and I'm not in a relationship currently, but I don't feel like that's the case. Like I'm using Valentine's Day as like a day to shower myself with self-love so that I can set myself up to attract that right man. You know,
Right.
so as much as love and attention I pour into myself, I'm gonna find the exact man who loves and appreciates himself, and we're gonna be like the perfect pair.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
yeah.
I love it.
I'm a +2 on that one. As far as the showering yourself with self-love, I also feel like I think it's also being reasonable, because I have seen situations where like even in terms of Valentine's Day, like women are very just like, I need this today. I work and I work a lot. So it's like, I understand if someone else works and they work a lot too. So if Valentine's Day doesn't necessarily land on a weekend, I'm not going to be upset if you don't have a whole big spread that day when you've been working all day and I've been working all day. But I think it's just like the communication of like, this is my expectation, this is your expectation. You want to go play laser tag? We could go do laser tag. I want to go shop? We could go shop. But I think it's just communicating like, this is something that I need, as opposed to automatically assuming someone to just step into the role of that, because some things don't matter as much. Like for me, I didn't celebrate my birthday a lot as a kid, so birthdays don't matter as much to me. So it's like, it just depends, I feel like, on each person on what they're gonna be a stickler about for whatever reason.
Gotcha. So like for the guys, like, is it important for
What
you?
y'all niggas want for Valentine's Day?
The box.
Do you not get it regardless? Like what?
I'm married. I can't talk about it on camera. I don't talk about it.
Without saying what he was saying.
Oh, okay.
That's gonna have to get cut.
I think like gifts are good, but it's like the love languages, right? So I'm like gifts and physical, so the box does count. I do expect it on Valentine's Day.
He telling her. He looking at the camera telling her.
I love you.
What about you, Pete?
I mean, Valentine's Day is kind of important. You know, I want to show my significant other. I mean, every day I want to show her how much love I have for her. But definitely on Valentine's Day, I do try to go a little over the top or something. You know. But this
do you
year,
give both your baby mamas? Damn. Do you give both your baby mamas Valentine's Day gifts since they were, you know, like?
well, let me see. No. First of all, my son and daughter are one. So this is kind of like the first time they, you know, the situation has come up. But no, the answer is no.
Oh, okay.
But honestly, though, this year I was thinking about. I'm not with neither one of them. First of all. But this year, I was thinking about getting them a little something. I was thinking about getting them a little something this year. You know, just a little something. You know, just a little gift. Appreciate
So
taking care of my kids.
I have a question about that, because I've seen toxic relationships where you end up kind of doing things like that, and it somewhat blurs the lines, especially when you've created life with someone. That's a very intimate thing. So are you prepared for what might come with that? Because the thing is, like, if you're completely off it and you're like, well, I'm just doing this as a kind gesture for you, but she would like to have a whole family unit and or either of them have this whole picture in their head, do you feel like you could be somewhat misleading by doing that? Like, it's not Mother's Day, it's a day for lovers.
And I love you because you birthed my child. Give me a damn gift.
I mean, first of all, is Valentine's Day only for lovers though?
No, it's for loved ones.
For love, period.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm very aware that could happen, but still
So
for
you're
me,
cool with that.
but just still for me, I just want to show you some love
That's
and appreciation for taking care of my kids.
I got another question. How does that work when you're in that was my other question. How does that work when you're in a relationship with someone else?
It don't.
Well, I'm in a relationship.
It just don't work.
It just don't.
It don't.
I am in a relationship with
saying that from
somebody else, and I was thinking
experience?
about how would they feel about that. I haven't
Are
asked
you gonna
them.
tell her?
Gonna
Before
tell
you
her.
do
She about to
it?
know.
Are you gonna tell your girlfriend before you give your baby mama's gift?
Tell or ask.
I am gonna
ask.
have that discussion with them, but I'm still gonna get them gifts regardless, though.
Oh, we'd have a problem.
Damn.
well,
That's
Her opinion don't
Okay.
We'd have a
matter.
problem.
Yeah, that don't.
He's
that
not.
don't.
He's not gonna ask
I'm
them. He's
assuming.
gonna tell
So
them.
this is.
Yeah, you
So
gotta
I'm
let
assuming
me
the
know.
relationship that you're in isn't a serious relationship, right?
It can be.
I can't
It's early.
Okay,
It's
that's not
early.
serious.
But realistically, if he, to me, I just feel like if you explain the thought process behind why you're doing
Right,
it
she
with
should
your
understand.
partner.
I'm
she should
sorry,
be able to
you were
understand.
just
whose friend
fucking
is
this
this?
woman
'Cause
a
she's
year
awesome,
ago.
though.
Like, we're not gonna act like this child is out here
365.
walking and talking.
Well, that's
It's
another
They
story.
just
Because
not-
I don't date people that have kids
He
under the
said-
age of a certain age anyway.
Is that right?
But that is
that's
right.
nice to know.
But you already got a girl, so you good.
No,
Yeah,
no,
like
no,
you
no.
just
I'm just
said,
saying, like,
because
now I
I
got a
believe
little
in
perspective
soul time.
on
Like, I
what
believe
some
in
women
exchanging
think, though, you know
soul
what I mean?
ties when you have sex, and I feel
I
like,
agree.
and if
I
your
guess-
kid is
I
under
never thought about
one,
the age limit.
like
for the
one
kid
and
thing.
stuff
That's
like that,
actually
there's a
really
That's
chance
what I
that
said.
you and baby
I never
mama
knew that.
still,
Might get
it's a
back
hard
together.
time when
No.
both parents are
Especially
needed,
if you
and y'all
just
start
had a
depending on
baby.
each
Let's not
other,
make
and
this a
y'all
big
start
mama thing.
having
It's
those
about
late nights,
Valentine's Day.
and then
No,
y'all start
and
thinking about shit, and then y'all start
I
fucking.
agree, and I just feel like creating life, like that's why sex is so like intimate, because it's a you have
Yes.
life creating energy.
Yes.
So I just don't feel like that's just easily severed or tied. Like, you know what I mean? Especially a year in, I'm not gonna go ahead and say that that's completely over to where I feel comfortable
Well,
enough for the person
2
that I'm
years,
with to
because
go
it takes 9
and
months.
give like relationship. But you know what? We're just gonna assume that it's 2 years within 9 months, because I don't know what
But
you
let
were
me
doing
say
while
this,
they
though.
were
Let me
pregnant,
say this, though.
or
To answer
right
your
when the
question,
baby was
To
just born.
give you more
Right.
And
information
he
on your
ain't answered.
question,
Okay.
though, on my part, it's not to give them the wrong idea
Right.
at all.
I know that's not your
just
intention,
an
but the road to
appreciation
hell
thing.
is paved with good intention.
Okay, Tiana Taylor.
I hear what you're
Yes.
saying,
Okay,
but
so
I
let
see
me ask
this
you guys
with
this
my
then.
own father.
Let me ask you guys this then. I'm asking an honest question.
What?
Does that sound like a bad idea?
Yes,
100%.
it
Yeah,
sounds like
it
a
sounds
horrible idea.
No, I don't think
Don't
I
do
so.
need all the gifts. If you wrecked my body, you wrecked my heart. Okay?
But how long is that gonna last?
I need a card that says thank you.
Yeah, it could be a card.
Thank
It doesn't have
you,
to be a
thank you
gift.
for being a
Your
great
time
I
Right.
think
Right.
personally,
Right.
coming
Right.
from
You know
like
now.
experience, like I'm married, like I have 2 baby mamas, like I'm good. My kids are 5 and 10. They're like I can tell you 100%, it's not gonna work.
It's a horrible idea.
Don't do it.
It's a
if you plan
horrible
on being
idea.
with her, if you don't
My
plan
dad
on being
has
with her,
3 baby mamas.
it's it.
Horrible idea. I will tell you that right now. Worst
It's-
idea ever. Like,
It's not gonna work. Like,
So a simple
Anyone
thank
got
you
one?
should suffice.
yes.
Yeah, maybe.
If you even need to say thank you, my thing is that you're not in a romantic relationship with this person. You could say thank you to them the day before and the day after Valentine's Day. You could get them a gift for just this week. Hey, thanks for taking the kids to school every day this week, or whatever the case may be. But I feel like to do it specifically on Valentine's Day, there's somewhat of, I don't know if you understand the intent behind it, but whether consciously or subconsciously, there's a message
Well,
being
this
sent
wouldn't
there.
be the first time I said I think I appreciate you though.
But
Right, so then you're good off Valentine's Day.
Let's just
So,
remember about
the-
a little thing called confirmation bias, right? So say one of these women are, maybe they're hopeful that something may come up or whatever.
Which I'm sure they are with the
Either one or
1 year old.
both.
Especially with Shay here.
We don't know the nature of
I'm
their
just saying,
relationship.
I'm just saying based on what I know.
It's nice from this
Either
direction.
one or both of them may have those feelings, right?
Yeah,
so now
yeah.
you done pulled up and you bought them a gift or you did something nice. You have now confirmed, because I wasn't
Right.
thinking like, oh, maybe we can still work it out. You confirmed it now with your actions, right?
Right.
And now you're done to both of these women. So what happens next? Your tires will get slashed.
Right.
15th?
And
Like,
I
what's
have a
next?
question for the women. How many of y'all have created fake relationships in your head at some point?
Bruh, I'm in one right now.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say 3 or 5.
But I'm aware,
so
though.
that's still the
I
probability
don't want
is
nobody that don't
higher
like me.
than not.
Just from experience, I would say stay away from it if you plan on being serious with the girl. If you don't, then do
Then fuck
whatever
her
the hell you
feelings.
want to do. Like I'm like I said, I'm married. I have arguments about stuff that I think is just like we just looking out for our baby mothers, right? That's what you think. It's like, oh, okay, she need a headlight changed in her car or something like that. I do that, now I'm compromising my relationship. If you care enough about your relationship, you will not compromise your relationship. 100%. Like I've been in situations.
I was ready to
Unless
say, she
it
drives
impacts
around with
the
my
children.
headlight. She might hit something and your
That's
baby's
what it-
gonna get an
Yeah,
injury.
that's
Exactly.
true.
Unless it
It's
impacts the
necessary.
child.
I just
Exactly.
think, but I think more than anything, I think the communication piece of it is most important because it's like, for instance, like if we bring it back to the Cardi Offset situation, Offset has such like a large sum of resources where Cardi might not care if he's dropping a stack on his baby mother's because she understands the financial
yeah.
situations. But that's a conversation. You don't just tell me that you about to buy these 2 women that you were just having sex with a year ago a gift and I'm just supposed to be like, okay, babe, cool. Like, no, that's not how that goes. Like, you should respect my feelings enough to try to see how I'm going to process that because at the end of the day, my perception is my reality.
That's true.
And if you care about me, you care about my reality.
Well, unfortunately, we gotta go. Hey, it's been real. I definitely want to thank all of you for coming. I think
Yes,
there's
sir.
a couple
Yes,
of podcasts on here.
Yes, I have a podcast. It's on modernlymixed.com. It's called the Modernly Mixed Podcast. You can find it on Apple Music and Spotify.
And do you have an Instagram? That
Yeah,
you wanna,
at Modernly Mixed.
You did say that. Yanni.
Yes, I am Yanni of Yanni Talks TV. I typically do not sound like this, but I have a cold. I can be found on Instagram at Yanni Talks TV. There are a lot of conversations and topics that are similar to what we've discussed. It is always something hot going on, so check me out.
Follow me on Instagram at Chris Creates. What's up?
Did I say that?
Yeah, he did.
Are we gonna have graphics that like have our name under like?
Yeah.
Like scroll through this.
Okay.
If you
Yeah.
need your hair slayed, I don't have a podcast, but I will be actually starting a YouTube channel. It's going to be tutorials on just a lot of things about my journey, and that'll be under Audrey D on YouTube. But you can follow my hair page, my business, Audrey Couture, at Audrey Couture on Instagram, and also on Facebook. I have a page and a Twitter, but I don't really use Twitter.
Yeah, so if you are a director or a casting agent, please put me in your damn movie or your commercial.
Facts though.
I'm trying to be booked and busy for 2019. I
Flew out.
Flew out. My passport is current.
Period.
Follow me on Instagram. I'm working on that. Alasia did, ALAYSIADID. Also, my vlog is going to be starting. It's going to be called Note to Self, Note to All by Alasia.
You want to throw in the barbershop, bro?
You already know I'm a barber. Follow me on Instagram, Haircuts by Keith. Appointment only, all right?
Okay,
You a
Okay.
house
Oh,
boss?
married
You
man
one
don't
of
want
them
nobody to follow.
Yeah.
Fuck with your boy, Vic the Ruler. Thanks everybody for coming today for the podcast. We started off a little rocky, but thanks to our female confidants, we got it all right. Tap in with us when we drop. Leave some comments, leave some recommendations, and we'll get back with you.